What does it take to win? Is it hard work, dedication, mindset? What if I told you it's all three? Today, I talk with Nicole Russell of Last Dragon Pizza. What I love about Nicole's story is that she exemplifies hard work, dedication, and mindset. She is the epitome of hard work. She has been grinding it out and she has been committed to her craft. But most importantly, and why I want to resurface this episode from 2021 is because she had the vision. We talk about all of this and more on this episode. I think this is going to be a good one for you. Hello, everyone listening. I am joined today with the one and only Nicole Russell, founder, owner of Last Dragon Pizza, and the host, Pizzaiola of FirstWeFeast. Welcome to the show. What's good, though?
Hey, life is good, though. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm so happy. I've had a day off, kind of, sort of. So I'm nice and relaxed.
I'm lucky you're spending it here with me because I know you are like the busiest woman. I see you all over the place.
Busy. I am pretty busy.
Well, that's your life. I mean, I've kind of been researching as much as I could about you for however long you've been doing pizza. And let me just start off by saying I respect the hustle.
Thank you so much.
Of course. I think because people haven't spent the last however many days researching you, I think it's just fair for everyone to kind of start at the beginning and talk about how you got in the pizza world.
How I got in the pizza world? Well, there's different pizza worlds, right? Well, how I got in the pizza life, pizza world, pizza life, two different things, right? Pizza life, it came organically. Like I had no desire to, really open up a shop, no desire to, be the best, no desire to do anything, but just to have fun perfecting my dough and creating great pizza because I can, and it was also something that was very comforting. At the time, I used it as a distraction to just get me over a hump in my life at the time, and then I was just wake up every morning like, oh, I can make dough today. I could try this pizza thing again today. And it just turned into this, love. It turned into this passion. It turned into this great curiosity. It turned into this constant R&D life. And that's how I got into the pizza life, organically, just in love with the process of making pizza and dough. Pizza world, whole nother story. Talk about a grind and a hustle, I started a business from home selling pizzas, and, it was word of mouth. It wasn't really something that was a public business per se, but it was more word of mouth. So I was able to do it. And, I learned a great business acumen while I was doing it, people wanted it. So I just was like, okay, I was just doing it to supply to people. But then, after I would say 2 years, I was like, wait, I think you have something. And then, I started servicing a brewery. That really took off because I made so much money during that time. That little bit of time, I made so much money that it changed me because people that were afraid to come pick up in Rockaway at my house were more apt to come to the brewery. So, I helped build that brewery to what it is today because we both brought our two worlds together, and people wanted my pizza and then they wanted to know about this new brewery. And, to this day, I'm very proud of being able to help that brewery to be where it is today. And then after that, I said, you know what? I joined a women's group in my neighborhood, like a business organization in my neighborhood, because I just didn't know what to do because I knew I had something. And they told me about a business plan grant competition. I've never written a business plan before, but I knew what I had. I always knew what I had. And at the time, I wanted to go mobile. So I did this whole business plan based on this mobile business for pizza. And I have to say, that's probably the turning point of my whole, I don't know what to call it, career, whatever, because it gave me a 5-year plan, to where to see myself. Am I exactly where I thought I would be? No, but I'm better.
That's interesting. I feel like you were just putting in the work, like as we started in this conversation.
Non-stop work. And that's why it's so annoying to me. Like when people, just try to ride my bandwagon or ride me because, you had the pandemic and all of a sudden everyone's doing it, which is fantastic, which I'm saying, you know what's fantastic about it? Follow your heart, right? Follow your heart and do what's in your heart and your soul. Maybe it's cookies, maybe it's brownies, but it's pizza, right? So follow your heart and see where it leads you. Like, don't try to map my blueprint, map your own blueprint. You know what I mean? Because there is no blueprint for me. Because all I tell people this all the time, was obedient. I was obedient to the spirit in me. That is it. I was obedient to the spirit in me. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to date. I didn't want to party. I wanted to make pizza. I wanted to please the little bit of customers I had, keep the little bit of customers I had, and grow the customer base I had. And that was it. That was it.
You did you.
Just did me. And I encourage everybody to do you. And that's why I'm fearless, because I know I'm never doing anything because I want to be like this, want to be like that one. I'm doing what's in my heart and in my spirit, and it shows.
All right. I gotta jump into this right now because I just watched The Last Dragon for the first time 2 days ago. And I'm gonna tell you my favorite scene. And it was the part where Leroy was at the club, Seventh Heaven, and he was watching Bruce Lee, and the line that stuck out was like, if you want to find that glow, it has to be the mind, the body, and the soul.
The body and the soul. And I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Tell me.
No. I was just going to say, I feel like you live that.
I am the embodiment of finding the glow. That's all I am doing. And that's why it's so poignant. Like, I'm not trying to copy The Last Dragon. I'm not trying to be The Last Dragon movie. I am the premise of The Last Dragon. I am Bruce Leroy. Like, he didn't care about nothing else. He wanted to find the glow, and that's me. I've sacrificed a lot to get there too. Like, a lot of my friends, I don't have a lot of same friends anymore. A lot of people thought I was having a midlife crisis. You know what I mean? But I knew, I just can't explain it. Like, I go to business meetings, all the time, and they ask me, and I just knew. I just knew. I can't even articulate it, and I still know.
So help me out here then, because there are a few people listening on this show, myself included, who still don't know the full path. It seems like to let things come to you, but sometimes you come into a path where there are two options. You just trust blindly that the path you choose is going to work?
No, it's more like you're just being a worker, and the work will show. The work, shout out to my brother-in-law, Opatino, but he says this all the time, the work will show. Just by putting in the work, it's almost like a universal law of the planet. It's almost like gardening and soiling and all of that. You're just soiling and gardening and soiling, and things just come because you're putting in the work. It's like energy in the universe. It's like energy in the world. It's like you're creating this energy and you're getting the return.
You said it yourself, everyone's coming on your bandwagon. They don't see the years of you putting in the work, fixing your own oven.
Right, yeah.
I was like, yo, I've been there. I see that washer behind me.
Yeah.
That washer behind me had a broken door, had a bunch of busted stuff, and I fixed that myself. And when you said that, you're like, I had to fix my oven in 24 hours because I had people coming for pizza tomorrow.
Yeah. Another thing, too, is I took a risk because, people started buying from me from civil, cops, detectives, and all kinds of things. I didn't fluff it. I didn't lie. I just was like, yo, word of mouth. That's how you got to find me. And that's it. And there'll be times where I'll be scared as hell. Who's this ordering? You know what I mean? Are they going to take me away? Are they going to take me away? You know what I'm saying? But I was consistent. When I say consistent, the first 2 years, when I realized that I was going to do this thing, I was so consistent that there was nobody coming. And I was sitting with my $20 do. Oh, I guess, okay, nothing today. Oh, nothing on Friday. Okay. Nothing on Saturday. Well, I'm open Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Okay. And I learned that just giving that customer the expectation of that when I'm going to be open and being consistent. See, people give up and they move on too fast.
Yo, that's real.
They want it so fast, they're going to get it real fast too. They're going to get fast and they're going to burn.
Oh my goodness. No, that's real because like you say you're going to be there Wednesday and Friday, you better be there because the day you're not there and someone shows up, that word of mouth that was working for you is going to work against you. They're going to say, oh, I visited Nicole and she wasn't even there.
And everyone's so quick to move on to the next stage so fast because, oh, bump this. I see what's happening. I want to be this and that. All right. But the work will always show because you're taking away the learning, taking away the opportunity to be fast on your feet. You're taking it away to adapt to different situations. You're taking it away how to deal with your customers and how to keep them. Yeah, it's great that they come, but will they come back? Will they come back for years? Will they follow you across the globe? Not on Instagram, but come outside and follow you. Will they be there for you? You know what I mean? And you don't understand that when you're such a like, I gotta do this now. And I want to shine. I want to shine on Instagram. I want to shine. I want to shine. I want to have 100,000 followers. I don't even care about that no more. I don't even care about that. I'm meeting billionaires. Forget my followers. You know who's following me outside of this? Billionaires. So what I'm trying to say, and what does that mean? Is it all about money? No, it's positioning, it's power, it's information, it's dinners, it's knowledge. I've opened up 81 of these before. Let me tell you what not to do. It's, I run the largest blah, blah, blah. It's, you know what I mean? So who cares?
You're not going to learn that off of Instagram.
No.
Those fake gurus ain't going to teach you nothing. Right. The people who are trolling you, they're not going to teach you nothing.
Right. So, authenticity always shows. True heart always shows. True spirit always shows. And, if you really want it, it shall be yours. You can't fake it. And I'm just fortunate. Like, by the way, I've been an entrepreneur for years. And all my friends that know me, they like you. Everything you did led up to this. I was prepared for this years because I've done other stuff that led me to the position where I am now, that I knew to wait. I knew to do it this way. I knew to be consistent. I knew to, learn how to build my clientele. I knew how to do this and that. Are there gaps of me in my learning? Yeah, there are. But I've positioned myself with just being myself and being whoever this self is to greatness. There's greatness on the line. There's so many things that I wish I could talk about. I can't. But I'm trying to tell you, like, it's a quiet storm.
When you say you can't talk about it, is because you don't know how to express it, or is there something that you're just not allowed to put out there?
Yeah, I got a lot of great things coming down the pike, and one I can talk about is season 3 is coming. So that's great. So I'm so happy that season 3 Pizza Awards is happening. And I believe we're going to start shooting that any day now, But I'm so excited for that opportunity. And I have to say that when it was first offered to me, they pursued me for it. I didn't understand what it was. I was just as shocked as other people watching it, like, oh, wow, look at that. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like when something is happening to you, you don't know what it is, but until you see it, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
We here. How did the relationship start?
They just reached out to me. But you know what I was driving last night and saying to myself? I hardly ever talk about Mark Iacono. I hardly ever talk about him from Lucali. I hardly ever talk about him, right? Because it's so easy to drop his name and everyone just, oh my God, right? But I authentically love that man. Just authentically love him. Like just, and he's done so much for me. But I was driving last night. I had a really great meeting. And I was like, one night at Lucali changed my whole life.
Are you referring to the pop-up where he invited you to pop up over there?
Yeah, because what's so funny was it was a strange part in my life. And I just didn't know like what was going on. And then he was like, I always tell the story, he really didn't offer me a pop-up. He offered me every Tuesday. That's what I have a witness. He offered me every Tuesday, right? But I trained until I was ready. I was training and training and training till I was ready. That night was so effortless and so wonderful. And I did exactly what I came to do that I didn't even want to repeat it. So then that night, I just named it One Night at Lucali's. That's it. And he was like, it's time for you to get your restaurant. You don't even need to be here. I was like, you're right. And then I was like, at the time, people that know me know I never really wanted a restaurant ever. But it's just a natural progression of things, you know what I mean, to get one. But that one night at Lucali's, I feel, changed my trajectory of my whole life.
Was it just the confidence that you felt afterwards? Did you meet people? What was going down?
The confidence, the impact I made in one night of the training, the learning his systems and how he's running his restaurant so efficiently, and the well-oiled machine that he has, how to handle fame, how to handle being the man, because he's the man, right? And so I'm with him, for months, and I'm watching and how he handles himself, how he handled me, you know what I mean? I learned how to be polite, how to be gracious, how to be humble, but a quiet humble. Like, you know what you got, you know what you're doing. You don't need to be all, you know what I mean? There's ways to handle this thing. You know what I mean? You don't got to shout it from the mountaintops. All you got to do is work. I just learned how to be cool.
I need to learn that.
How to be just cool, Like, stay who you are. Stay true to yourself. Know what's for you. Know what's not for you. And just be cool.
It's like learning to live with that glow, because when you're glowing, it's like everyone wants to touch your glow. You want to use your glow, but it's like you got to know how to harness that power.
Yes. And it's constant, because the brilliant thing about being on Complex is like, oh, I can't believe I did the show in 1 year, 2 seasons in 1 year. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it's only been a year. Feels like a decade, right? But then it stays on YouTube forever. So then it's going to grow, while I'm growing, and people can see the beginning of that part, and the people that I'm saying this to you, I'm nodding my head, is because at the same time while I'm talking to you, the producers are texting me, and the subject line is thank you. And I won't share the whole letter with you, but I am so honored to be a part of the FirstWeFeast family and the Complex family, and now BuzzFeed family. And I just couldn't ask for greater people to be on my team. I'm on their team, whatever you want to call it. It's just like, it's so good. And I just feel so lucky, blessed, whatever the word, just so honored. But you see, like, I feel like when you're not so thirsty, you could just take small sips and win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Were you ever at a point where you're just like, all right, I'm acting a little thirsty here, I got to cool down?
No, because I never really wanted anything but to make pizza. I wanted to grow, but like after I was in the New York Times, and after I did Lucali's, and after I did a couple of things, and a lot of things was in the works before Lucali, right? That New York Times thing was in the work before Lucali happened, and then, all this stuff happened. It was just all coming down the line. I knew I wanted to grow, reach more people, and you never know how that's going to happen. But look what I'm doing. I'm reaching millions of people.
I was just going to say earlier, when you're talking about YouTube and it living on there forever, I just saw a notification on my phone this morning that YouTube hit 1 trillion views today with a T. And you're only at the beginning. You just got moved up to season 3. You got a lot more to go. And I'm actually, very curious about FirstWeFeast. How do you prepare for such a daunting challenge week after week?
Oh, that's something. Let me tell you. First of all, you want to know the truth? It happens so fast a lot of the times that live on air in that taping is the first time I'm actually making some of that stuff.
No way.
Yeah, like I'm planning here. And I always make my dough. So there's no trickery. There's no nothing. I always make my dough. That's the thing. I make my sauce too, but like sometimes I could just give the culinary producer, tell them, hey, I want my sauce like this or whatever. And then I just get it and then just, real quick, just make it how I want it. But my dough is always my dough. And of course, I have a list of things I want every week that I want for the show. And then what I started to do was make my list broader so that if I want to freestyle, I could just be like, you know what? I do want cinnamon. you know what? I do want X, Y, and Z. We're working hard to make the kitchen more like a real kitchen. Like I go in there and whatever I want is there. So they're really good at that. So together with the culinary producer and I, we've been making it a real kitchen as much as possible. Every tool that I could think of that I want, every spice, every whatever that I want available. So oftentimes, we have to make more than one pizza. So I have to show up with like 6 doughs of whatever I'm going to do. If it's a deep dish dough, it's a deep dish dough. If it's a regular pie dough or Sicilian dough, I have to come ready with 6. And then oftentimes it's like, okay, Nicole, now go. And I'm doing it right then and there. No practice, no nothing.
Dang, that's skills.
Right. The first time I made the lamajun that I just did, lamajun, I always get it wrong, so please don't hate me, you guys. I had been to Turkey and I knew what it's supposed to taste like and I knew the ingredients. So when I got to the kitchen that morning, I was just trying to get the meat right. Like, okay, no, add this, add that, add this. Try to get the garnish right. No, add this, add that. So what I do is I get in there and I get the taste down. And the dough's already me because I've been, the great thing about being a home pizzaola is that all you do is R&D, right? All you do is play around with doughs and flours, right? So I'm pretty fast with that because I've been doing that for how many years now, right? So I know what outcome I want and I prepare for that. Of course, sometimes we don't always get what we want, but pretty much I prepare for that. So now once I got the dough that I'm going to do for the challenge, when I get there in the morning, it's all about, okay, what's this? Oh, no, okay, we got to do this, get the taste down. And then usually the first time I make a pie is when you see me making it right there and there.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm just like, okay, so let's go, whatever. And that's why I'm always like, you like it? Because
please.
I tried it.
This is my first time making it.
I tried it.
Oh, that would stress me out. Like when I'm still making pizza, since I'm still fairly new at this, it's like if I know someone's going to pick up, I'll try to make at least, I'll give the batch a go at least a day before, just so I know, right? I'm not that confident yet, but I'm glad all of the work that you put in has prepared you for this.
Yeah. And then I don't read the comments that often, but I do. And they swear to God it's rigged. It's not rigged. They swear to God like the judges are biased. They're not biased. They come in, they have no idea. They come in late. Like we shoot from let's say we start shooting. My call time on set is usually 11 o'clock. I'm usually there before, but my call time's like 11. They come 3 o'clock. They ain't see everything that we did all day. You know what I'm saying? Then they come in and they sit there, whatever. And this season, because they wanted to do the blind tasting, I went through hoops to make sure it was blind because I didn't want to hear nobody say nothing. If my producers ever see this, they're going to be like, oh yeah, she's ridiculous. Because I'd be like, Jackson, they can see. Don't call my name because they know that if I go first, then we both got to go over there because who are they going to know? I'm like, Jackson, can they wait outside? And he's looking at me like, oh my God, because the fun taking care of talent and me being like, excuse me, Trimby?
So, you're competing against, some of them are professional bakers like Artisan Brian, but then you also have, some people who are not as professional. Isn't that going to be like, oh yeah, this dough is really well fermented, especially coming from Frank and Joe? They can kind of sense that you have that experience.
Well, the thing is, and that's a good question. The thing is, all the people that are on there, don't get it twisted. These people have 7 million, 10 million. Look them up. They got 2 million followers, 7 million followers. They got cooking shows, legit cooking shows. Just because they're not on the pizza radar, the pizza industry radar, don't mean that they don't know what they're doing with their dough. Don't mean that they don't know what they're doing with their cooking or anything like that. These people have millions of followers. I have none. So they're pros in different ways, right? Of course, I would love to get more pizza industry and go toe to toe, which I presume will come, soon. But a lot of the pizza industry people are huge giants to us, but not the world, unfortunately. So I can't, for a show to survive, they asked me who's my number one person I would love on the show. John Arena. He's the GOAT to me. He's Yoda. He's right up the line. I'm Last Dragon. He's the GOAT. I would love to have John Arena as a guest. And I know that will happen, God willing, right? But at the same time, he's the GOAT. But if you put in a YouTube stratosphere, Does John Arena have 10 million followers? Does he have 2 million, 1 million followers? That's advice I would say to everybody in that sense. You know, you build your brand with your following too, I guess, right? Like you got to have that big following. You know what I mean? So now to go back to your point, I had to cloak myself. Because let me tell you something. I'm paranoid, right? I love Joe. I love Frank, right? But I don't know if they're rooting for me.
That didn't even cross my mind.
I know they like me. I know they love me. But I don't know if they're rooting for me.
Right. It might get more views if they don't like you.
Right? Everybody got a job and an opportunity, don't they?
Right. You don't know what's in their contract.
But I don't know. But just what? I got a cloak. So I would cloak my stuff. Like, oh, you know me for this? Or you think my sauce is sweet? My sauce is not sweet this week. Oh, you think my dough is like that? I'm doing a whole different dough this week. A lot of times I would try to focus on the dish and remove my last dragon pizza mindset from it and just think about the outcome of what I want and make sure that's great. You know what I mean? Because one thing is a pizzola, you know how you have a signature. You know how you want things. But sometimes the challenge is not about what you want. It's about the execution. And then you got to decide, do you want to just win or do you want to experiment and be free? You know? So Jo didn't like spices this season. She hated the spices. She said that my pizza was too spicy for children, right? I disagree with her. I respect her to the hilt. And just to be clear, off camera, it's real. I love Josephine. Like I would do anything for her, right? But on the show, I want to win. So I'm known for Last Dragon Pizza spices. Hello. And I got a judge that doesn't like it. So every week I got to be like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this girl? What am I going to do with Frank? Oh, I'm a minimalist. And then this week, he's not a minimalist.
Change him by the flavors of the week.
So it's always like, my execution just had to be like, Nicole, just be remarkable. Like, do what you do to think you want to win. Because I really wanted to win. I wanted to win for all the people that would say, oh, it's her show. She's the host and she's the producer. How's she going to know?
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's like you have to keep showing them that you have all of these like cards up your sleeve and that you're not predictable.
Or they feel like, or the first season, you know, I was having fun. Popcorn pizza, pizza in a cup. That's not real pizza. So this season, I made pizza. You happy? You know?
I love the popcorn thing. I was like, that was one thing I wanted to try.
Me too.
And
I thought it was fun. But I have to give it to Mike. Mike understood the assignment. He understood the assignment. And when I saw him pull the bone out, I said, oh, he won this.
It's good.
Let me be your host.
Good.
Let me be your host, Mike. Change what you're doing now. You know? Because I knew, forgive me, but I knew that he was going to win that.
In an interview that I saw or read, it said that do you still hate being at the judges table after 2 seasons?
I mean,
maybe hate's a strong word.
No. I'm thinking because I want to make sure I say it correctly. I want to give you my true feeling. My true feeling is not that I hate being at the judges table. The truth of the matter is the storyline is for real. Like I do want to be the best, right? I do want to be a great pizza maker in the world. I do. And I don't want people to think because they're judging me that they're making or breaking me. So I do not like going to the judges table. I'm appreciative to hear your feedback, but I'm also determined to do the work that I feel like I was called to do, whether A likes it or B likes it or C likes it. So yeah, is the judges table my cup of tea? No, but it's good. I've learned to take constructive criticism. I've learned to understand people's palates and expectations. You know what I mean? And it's something that I'll definitely keep in my mental cap. Like, oh, got it. But yeah, but I don't want it to get, you know, some people feel like the judges table is like they're so powerful and mighty at the judges table. I'm going to be the deciding factor on whether your pizza is a whatever. And that's why I always make it a note to say, like, I'm super proud of what I made today. Because I am. I'm proud of what I made today. If you don't like it, okay, note taken. You know, I'm listening to your feedback and I get constructive criticism. Thank you. But I'm proud of what I made today. My fried pizza was amazing. I still think about my fried pizza. And I'm not even saying it like I'm egotistical. Like, I know when I'm not good, and I know when I am good. And I know that I did a great fried pizza. You know what I mean? But I took an L on that. But you know what? Georgia was fantastic too, and I learned a lot from Georgia. And that's another thing. So sometimes it's a win-win situation because the guests that come on, they're so amazing, and I get to learn from them too.
Do you have any input on who they invite? I know, like, it seems like they have to have a pretty big following, but like, I'm sure you're aware of who some of these people are in advance.
Sometimes I meet these people the same day. I meet the people at Action. At the most point, I might say, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Nicole," and the next thing you know, I'm in position.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like that, and it's good, bro.
Yeah, you get starstruck by any of them?
Not really yet, but I am honored by a lot of them. Like, they've given me great advice behind the scenes, and it's really molded me to host anyone. Which is what you need in life and in the restaurant industry and everything like that. So, yeah, I don't know you, but hi, nice to meet you. And what do you have going on there? And sometimes I'm such a stickler, like nobody would know this. Sometimes I don't even want to know what they're making. Like, I don't know beforehand what they're making. I could know beforehand what they're making, but oftentimes I choose not to.
Why is that?
Because I don't want to, I stay up all night anyway before I shoot. And I don't want to stay up all night thinking all night about what they're doing. I would think about what I'm doing. I'm a strong believer in blinders. Strong believer in not looking what you're doing, not looking what you're doing, and just being like this. Every now and then I just, but I like this.
You got to put them up yourself sometimes.
Like, I believe in no distractions or anything. So it's really good because it makes you good on the fly. So, a guest comes in there and they think they're going to get some bacon, right? Because everybody loves bacon. And they're going to put some bacon in their dish and overpower what I'm doing. I have a chance on the fly to just be like, what can I do to compete with the flavor palette of that on the fly? And sometimes I do it. I'm like, oh, here. You know what I mean? And it just makes you just sharper on your toes. So you got to know how to make pizza, but you also got to have a flavor disposition. You also have to know palates and people and who you're cooking for and all these kind of things. My very first episode with Frank, I made a killer pepperoni pie. He also made a square, which I was not happy that he was going to make a square and I was going to make a round, but you got to do what you got to do, right? And I made this killer pepperoni pie. And the judge was like, I don't eat pepperoni. I was like,
what?
Yeah. Nobody
Oh,
checked.
my goodness.
So then I had to make another plain cheese pie. So that was a tough competition to begin with. I'm just doing a plain cheese pie and whatever. So, and then we were still getting started and my pie was cold. So I was pissed. That's another thing. So like, I would get heated behind the scenes. Like, we need lamps. We need heat lamps. What's going on? Don't make my dish yet. I'm not making it till you're ready. Are you ready? Okay, you're not ready. I'm not making it till it's hot. Can it be hot? It's not going to be hot. I'll wait. Instead of being like that because I was tired of seeing my food cold on the table. So I would say after a couple episodes, the production team was like, right. And then they made sure every time everything came out hot.
It kind of just goes back to what you were saying about how like things just don't happen overnight. These are things that build over time, and shoot, next thing you know, you're in season 5 and it's just smooth sailing.
Yeah, and I hope so. But I have to say, this was a smooth sailing season. Like, I think we found our groove, like all of us. Like, I think the producers know, the supervisor producer knows me. Like, they know I know them. I think we found our groove. By the way, we always had a groove because I never really had any upsets with them, right? But, through trial and error, they didn't know how competitive I was. So that's the thing. That probably took them by storm. Like, oh, wait, this girl's not playing. I'm like, no, I'm really not playing. Like, no, I'm not going to do it till is it time? I'm not serving cold pizza. Okay, So, yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing.
I'm glad to hear that you still believe in the quality of it all, even at that level. I feel like it matters even more.
And there's guests that come on my show, and if they don't have the right pan, I'm like, nope, we need the right pan for the guests. Because another thing, oh, I was on the show, and, I wanted to do this, but they didn't have, nope, go get it. Go get it. Go get the pan that he needs, or go get the sauce that he needs, or go get the dough that they need. No excuses. So sometimes to make a production, the production wants to be like, well, can we use this? I'm like, no, what he should use is what he wants to use. He needs a pen. So let's get him a pen. It's because it's going to be a bad reflection on me at the end. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're the face of it all.
Right. It's a bad reflection on me at the end. But that hardly ever happens to High Complex. They're so wonderful.
Who are some of the people that helped you get to where you are today?
Oh, there's a lot of people that helped me. So first and foremost, I would say there's different levels of help, right? So number one, my first person would be my sister that just gave me the confidence to do this. I don't know if you know my sister. I started this as something to commune with my sister. And if it wasn't for me wanting to build a relationship with her, I don't think that I would have found the spirit in my heart and my soul as deeply as I did with pizza. So I owe her all of that. And pizza afforded me to be by her side, go to every doctor's appointment for the last 7 years while she was battling stage 4 cancer. She passed away this year, and I'm sorry too. And while I miss her terribly every day, I have zero regrets because the pizza life has afforded me to spend the most quality time with her that I couldn't even imagine spending the time that I spent with her. So I rest easy thinking of our time over the last 7 years, and I'm super grateful for her. Then secondly, I would say as far as getting in the pizza world, I owe that to Sirhan to start because he became my friend on Instagram, and because of him, the term "I'm outside now," because of him, I came outside because I was really just like this, like
blinders on, staying to yourself.
I got pieces to make for my people out here. He introduced me. I came outside and he introduced me to Scott. Then from Scott, I went to Expo, and then I met Nino Caniglio there, and that really helped me tremendously because I got to be his what's it called, stage or stag? When you study your
staging.
Yes, yeah, I can never say the word. Oh God, I'm so bad with pronouncing things. But for 4 months, I ran around with Nino, and it was one of the best 4 months I've ever spent in the pizza that I'll never forget. And it was kind of 2:00 in the morning. Oh, Nicole, drive me here. Oh, Nicole, take me there. Oh, Lord, whatever. And he really never told me a dough recipe per se, but I got to watch him. And then when I started reading with the combination of the time I spent with him, it just came together. Because what happened was I followed him around. I watched him, and I didn't know what he was doing, checking the dough, pulling in, and this, that, and other. It didn't register to me, right? But then when I started reading on top of it, Stephanie had sent me the books, Modernist Cuisine, and I started reading it. All the stuff he was doing, it clicked. So when I was studying for Lucali, I took a little bit of both. He taught me a lot by showing me large batches of dough and what to do. And then the books kicked in, and then the oven, and then understanding what am I using? Okay, let me make a dough specifically for that. What temperature? Okay, let me make a dough specifically for that. And I would say that's what really made me strong.
So thank you for that. I have 2 questions that I like to end the show with. The first one, what's one mistake that people can avoid in the pizza business?
Okay, pizza world, I would say just stay true to yourself. And in a pizza business, I would say try to stay with the times and understand what's going on in the world wherever you're at, and stay abreast with it and create a situation that's conducive to what you want out of life. Because the number one thing I hear from people that own restaurants that come on my show is oh, I couldn't wait to come here to tell you don't do a restaurant. If I had even a quarter of how many people tell me not to do a restaurant because I'm going to give up my whole entire life and I'm never going to have anything but this pizzeria and forget it, your life is over. Know what you want for yourself and know what you're getting into before you so quickly to think you're reaching for something that it's not necessarily what you want, but what you're told you want. I would say always follow your gut and know what you want. You want to do a takeout business, do a takeout business. You want to do a ghost kitchen, do a ghost kitchen. You want to do a restaurant, do a restaurant, but do what you want that's conducive to what you want for your life.
Maybe this isn't the second last question just because something popped up in my head, but it seems like you are setting up your own wave and riding it. You were ahead of the game in the home pizza making type of scene, and you were doing what you want. What wave are you creating next, and what is it that you want to do with it?
I want to create a wave of fearlessness. I want to create a wave of really pushing yourself to be the best. I want to create a wave of ambition and life. I want to create a wave of all those things, because in the end, that's what this life is about. It's about learning, pushing and learning, and going through what you got to come through the fire to see what you're made of. You know what I mean? A lot of people underestimate me. And I think that that's the biggest mistake anyone can ever make, because I want it bad. Like, it's not a game. Like, I'm nice, but I really want it.
I knew you wanted it bad when I read that you used to wake up every morning and just write in your journal.
Yep. I used to write in my journal, FirstWeFeast. I used to be like, I wish FirstWeFeast would notice me. I used to do that. And when I look back, I'm like, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? I remember one time I saw something on their channel. I was like, wow, that would be cool if FirstWeFeast would notice me. That'd be nice. And I didn't even know what that would look like. Yeah, and I get offers all the time. And you know, I tell the show, I get offers all the time to do other shows, do other, these shows that come out. And the way that they bet on me is why I'm so loyal to them.
If there's one thing that I mess with you the most with, is that loyalty is so important.
I'm a loyal person. So if you ever see me and there's a disconnect, you know the disconnect is for a reason. Like, I'm a super loyal person. You know what I mean? And patient. But if something is not right, something's not right. If something's not, I don't feel good about it, I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. And that's that. You got to be yourself, like, you can't allow people to like change you or like, I make pizza for sure. I'm friendly for sure, but I'm still me. I'm still Nicole Russell. Like, anyone that knows me knows me. Like, I'm loyal to a fault sometimes. But if the energy's not right, the energy's not right, and I'm not going to do it. I like money, but money is not everything to me. And I thank God, I've never wanted for anything in my whole life. I thank God. So that's never a draw for me. I'm not greedy. I'm not a coveter. I don't look at your thing and I want your thing. I always want my thing. So this is mine. All of this whole journey, this whole pizza life, this whole everything, I did this, me. And people came along the way, and thank you so much for everything that everyone's inputted in me. And I double back, and I'm always there when they need me because of what they sprinkled, the dust they sprinkled on me, or the soil, or the water they planted me, whatever you want to say it, like, for that. And that's how I build my tribe. But all of this you're seeing, this is me, period.
I just want to say this has definitely been one of my favorite interviews of the year. And I feel so honored to be in your presence. And I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness.
I do too.
And
I do too. I think the same thing about you. And I don't do everything. And I don't interview everybody. I'm not thirsty for nothing. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. So I came on here because I met you in person. I felt your vibe and the way that you approached me, and that's why I'm here. So you're destined for greatness as well. And it's an honor to be on your show.
That means so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What do you want to leave the audience with that you haven't said already?
We're in trying times. We're all going through it. It's so much death and ugliness around us. It's so much illness around us. It's so much grief around us. We're approaching the holidays. I just want everyone to keep the hope, keep looking up, keep shining, and know that tomorrow will be a better day. And each day is a better day. And we all will get through this. So I hope this reaches everybody far and near. Just continue to plant your seeds, continue to toil your soil, and trust me, you will have your harvest season.
If you were talking to anybody, you were talking to me, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope everyone here is listening. Please give a lot of thanks to Nicole for being on the show and inspiring us at the end of the year. Follow her on Instagram. Check out FirstWeFeast. The Pizza Wars show is cracking, y'all.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, there you have it. My conversation with Nicole Russell of Last Dragon Pizza. I hope you feel motivated enough to take on the world and accomplish all of your dreams. If you're still around, I hope that means you got a lot of value from this show. So I would greatly appreciate it if you help me grow this show. You can do that by sharing it with a friend. Also, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show. That way you get notified when the next episode drops. Finally, leave a rating and review, and check us out on social media. Links to that, including Nicole's links, will be in the show's description. I appreciate you. I love you. Till next time. Peace.